fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God!
Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Hello everybody and welcome to the Ozicar V8 Series, getting ready for round 3 of the season from the famed Mount Panorama circuit here in Bathurst. Where other place would you rather be when you're tackling a V8 on the iRacing service? As always, it's coming to you on Simspeed TV, thanks to Simspeed, virtual motorsport mentor as well. My name is Ryan Jones, and alongside me I've got Nick Scarrigy. Jake Kennedy is behind the scenes. Qualifying is about to come to an end. We've got 14 cars for this one, so we've got more than we had last week. Good to see the uptick as we head to the mountain. Looking to see who can be crowned King of the Mountain over our 2 races today, Nick. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. Spiritual home of the V8 supercar, so good to see a few drivers out there. Seeing Martin Turner second up on the board, so he currently leading the championship. So it's a 6-round series, so it's a really quick series. But yeah, seeing that consistency is key, and yeah, just seeing the last people come in, it looks like that'll be it for qualifying.
What a gap that Sean Lindsell's got in qualifying. He's got a second over the field, which is remarkable. So he is looking in very good stead as we head in to look at the start of the race. Let's take a glance at the starting grid. So Sean Lindsell and Martin Turner on the front row. Daniel Hetchesfield and Daryl Hockey starting on row 2. Stuart Crawford and Daniel Gray, 5th and 6th, and Scott McKeon and Roy Clark off row 4, Julian Mookie, and Jason Ress running at your top 10.
Yeah, we've got Jager Pascoe, Cameron Cousins, Sean Slater, and Jason DiPotetto rounding out the 16.
16-car field. 14 cars, 2 of them are race control, live admins, as always, with every Aussie car race. So the same format we use across all Aussie car series, a 2-race format, 2 qualifying sessions. Cold track temp, 21 degrees. So that's going to aid drivers as they launch off the line. They'll have plenty of grip underneath their right foot. A bar for the 300 horsepower these cars put down through the rear tyres. And up and around the mountain, they should be able to push the cars pretty hard as well. An estimated race distance of 8 laps. With over 2 minutes per lap. This 15-minute sprint race to open up proceedings.
Yeah, Ryan, so with the Aussie Car Series, they are encouraging more participants. These are really short rounds, so they only have 6 rounds for each championship. So there's plenty of spots, so really want to encourage people to jump on board and to become a part of the Aussie Car Series.
The unique thing with the starting grid is that drivers are going to be lining up staggered and very staggered at the start line. In fact, they're not starting side by side like they would in real life when you come visiting to Mount Panorama. Martin Turner is a good half a car length behind Sean Lindsell to the right-hand side of him on the grid. And from there, 4th back, everyone's sitting in similar positions. So should be easy to hold on to your spot as long as you don't completely butcher the launch off the line. These are hard cars to launch, so it's not a sold and done deal as the clock runs down. And we look to the red lights as they come on, the revs rise. Let's go racing on Mount Panorama. Green flag, and we are underway, and a good start for Sean Lindsell. He converts beautifully. He'll lead them down into turn number 1, and Daniel Hetchesfield with a beauty from 3rd. He sneaks up the inside, and he's going to try to take away P2 from Turner. They'll drag down to turn number 2.
Yes, seeing them thunder up Mountain Straight. Just seeing who's going to get the jump into Griffin's Bend. Yeah, it's a big uphill run.
So Hetchesfield will take it. Turner moves to the racing line, but pushes himself a bit wide through turn 2, and Daryl Hockey has a little look, but he'll be on the wrong side for the cutting, so he backs out of that. It's from this point onwards where overtaking becomes extremely difficult and you've got to really be patient and sit single file up through the cutting, all the way across the top and back down to Forest Elbow. You don't want to be inviting any side-by-side action because it's extremely easy to end up firing off into the concrete. That's a car backwards.
Yeah, just seeing Jaeger Pascoe seems to be facing the wrong way, through Reed Park, so not too sure what's going on there, whether or not that's been in contact with another car.
Lindsell already pulling a 1.6 second margin of the first half of the lap. Back to Hedgesfield from that launch, getting himself up into second, then Turner, Hockey, and Crawford, the top 5. So a couple 111 esports cars up until the top 5 early. Daniel Gray, Roy Clark, Julian Mookie, and Jason Ress all up under each other's slipstream as well. Look at the slipstream down Conrod Straight, longest straight on the circuit, one of the most famous straights in Australia. Here's the slingshot move for Martin Turner around the outside of the kink, onto the brakes of the chase. Last and late breakers will be Hedgesfield as he sends smoke signals back to his opposition. And Turner almost came under fire from Hockey there.
Yeah, hard on the brakes for Turner. Lucky to make that move stick. So, yeah, I think nearly 300 kilometres an hour he was hitting as he was coming down Conrod Straight.
Lap 1 completed and in the books. 2 seconds for Lindsell. Scott McCune has had an issue through the chase. He pulls his Supercars Holden Z-Bed Commodore off to the side. And a modem simulation replay will tell us what's happened as he dives onto the brakes from about 290 kilometers an hour, blew the engine. And that's why that car pulled off with seemingly no damage, because it wasn't getting any power.
Yeah, may have been a bit too hard coming down through the gears. Just saw a twitch from as he was going over that kink, so yeah, maybe might have slipped a gear or something.
Yeah, very easy to accidentally ram it down an extra gear or so, which, needless to say, it's not great for the longevity of your engine. We do often see a few engines go pop into the braking zone at the chase here in iRacing. Look at the attitude from the cars as they slip underneath the tree and then head up through Reed, Solomon Park, and then into McPhillamy. Rear end always trying to step away, but you've got to be committed and trust that it won't to be the quickest driver across the top.
Yeah, just seeing Martin Turner, slight puff from the brakes there, coming down into the dipper. So, yeah, it looks like he's really pushing quite hard. Seeing him follow Hedeschild. Looks like that gap's being maintained at the moment. But, yeah, see if he can get inside that slipstream.
After the strong opening lap for Lindsell, Hedgesfield's reined him in a little bit. And he is maintaining the gap at 2 seconds now, not letting him get away any further. Probably aided by the fact he's no longer got much pressure from behind in the way of Turner or Hockey. Those guys have spread out. Crawford's all by himself. So is Gray, Clark, Rez, and Muki, and Slater too. So 12 cars took the start in the end. McCune is on pit road with what will probably be in the region of 30-odd minutes of repairs due to that car. To repair a fully blown engine. This is the gap from second to third. It's 0.3 of a second as Lindsell goes purple on that lap. No one was able to match him. Very quick through the final sector.
Yeah, not too many movers and shakers. We have had Turner and Hedeschild switch spots, so but they are kept in pretty close proximity to each other as they come up the mountain straight.
Yeah, I think Hedgesfield made a mistake coming out of turn 1. Got up on the curb on the outside, and there's not much grip up there, so when he got on the throttle, the rear end slid out from underneath him, and he had to catch it. That hurt his momentum all the way down to Griffin's Bend. He was able to hold on, but now he's got Turner and Hockey stacked up right underneath him. Good news is he's heading up the mountain and should be able to stave these guys off. Needs to pull a gap across here, though. That's right on board with Turner as we head across the top behind Hedgesfield through McPhillamy. Hedgesfield running a bit wide, gets up under the curb at a big wobble. A huge tank slapper.
Yeah, seems to just run it a little bit too wide, across Skyline, so very quick part of the circuit. Very good save from that. It does look like Turner and Hockey are sitting in and going to try and make it...
Oh, he's given him a shot. And Hedgesfield will go around, and oh, that's a tight squeeze. Somehow his teammate made it through, and Turner is looking for the redress. So that's great sportsmanship from him, recognising his error. He'll give back the spot to Hedgesfield. They'll both drop a bunch of spots, but it looks like that 111 Esports car might need to make a trip to pit road, damage to the front left and to the rear of that car. Here's a replay, Nick.
Yeah, just seeing him come in, so Martin Turner very, very close on the back of Daniel Hedeschild, but it almost looks like, yeah, Hedeschild's kind of maybe stopped up a bit more further than what Martin Turner was going to guess. So, yeah, really unfortunate for both of them because, yeah, Martin Turner, the current leader of the championship, and good work with redressing that because, yeah, you could probably say that would potentially be a penalty for that contact from behind.
Yeah, Turner just a bit too committed heading into Forest Elbow there. And Stuart Crawford, commendable job to somehow squeeze between Hedgesfield and the wall. So Hedgesfield stays on the racetrack. He doesn't opt to come to pit road, so he'll try to survive for the damage to that car with 8 minutes and about 4 laps remaining. Linsell, his gap now as a result is 5.8 seconds. That XG Motorsports car looking comfortable up at the front. Hockey sitting in second. He was a big winner out of that. Crawford in third, the back of the podium. Then the battle for fourth between Daniel Gray and Roy Clark.
Yeah, looks like Hedeschild and Martin Turner have both dropped back down the order, so they are only separated by 4 points in the championship. So yeah, great work by Martin Turner for sticking back, and yeah, looks like they'll save their battles for the next race.
Yeah, so don't forget if you're watching now, stick around because when this sprint race wraps up, we'll go to a quick break, but then we'll come back for qualifying, another 10-minute session, and then race 2. Race 2 has some strategy involved. It's 25 minutes in length total. It also involves a compulsory pit stop. The ruling is for a minimum of 2 tyres, but you can take 4 at basically no extra cost in a supercar. So expect everyone to come in for 4 fresh pieces of rubber at some point in the next race, and that'll pay out equal points as this one, so it's just as crucial to perform well here and there. On board with Clark, you can see him reaching 298 kilometers an hour, and according to that dash, doing 298 kilometers an hour as he dives into the brakes into the chase as well. Tremendous speed being carried through the corners. He's glued to that speed. Fantastic job. That's a mistake from Daniel Gray, though, in front of him. And he moves over to cover off the inside, wanting to defend the spot. Doesn't want to give this up easy, so Clark looks around the outside. And on the brakes, eventually, Daniel waves a white flag and says, you can have it. And Clark will move up into P4, thanks to that mistake, back at the final corner. Oh, yeah. That's a mistake in the background. Hedgesfield's lost it. He's lost it out of turn number 1. And that's a mistake he made a few laps earlier. This time, though, it carried on a bit further, and he ended up in the fence.
Yeah, looked like potentially that rear wing missing off the back. He had a massive tank slapper in the background of that shot that we just had. Oh, yeah, dropped the wheel off in that grass again. Also, great work by Jason Reese to evasive action, just missing Hedeschild, because, yeah, it would have been a bit of a speed difference there.
Yeah, you can see there the right side of the car just dips into the grass. Didn't quite get it off the outside of the track quick enough, and that's what triggered his car to swing like a pendulum on him down a mountain straight. Damage to the right side of Gray's machine. Some paint being rubbed off as smoke signals being fled up by Roy Clark as he dipped down through Skyline into the S's and through the dipper. A lot of steering input being put in left to right and back again from Gray as he looks for the optimum line. And Clark's a bit shallow. That might hurt his exit. If Gray can get it turned down and powered down quick enough, he might have a run down Conrod straight. But it looks like Clark managed to get that thing turned around pretty quickly and launched off there well.
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial coming out of Forest Elbow, trying to get that perfect line out. Well, it actually looks like Daniel Gray, just not close enough to get a move. But yeah, if he can sit in there, he might be lucky in the next couple of corners.
Needs another car length and a half, and he'll be close enough to have the look down at the chase. Headlights are on for these drivers too. It's approaching 8 p.m. in sim time, so it's relatively late in the evening. And a little bit surprising given the fact it is currently winter time here in Australia that it's not actually dark already. But obviously we're using a date from somewhere in the summer here on the sim.
Yes. We're in mid-November in the sim, yeah.
Would have been cool to see a race completely under the lights, but I also say that probably would have resulted in even more chaos throughout the field. Of course, this place has no lights, bar the main straight, to light up the racetrack. Gray made a mistake somewhere. He's made another one there as a rear end steps out through Griffin's Bend, and he's gifted some valuable time to Roy Clark. There's now about a second between them.
I do remember earlier last month, watching Max Bance under lights, or you could say just in the dark, and yeah, it was quite difficult to make out absolutely anything on the track.
Sean Slater should be our highest mover in this field. He's up 6 spots unofficially. He was scored at 15th on the starting grid, but 3 of the drivers ahead didn't take to the start. He should be able to pick up another spot because he's got Hedgesfield in front of him, who is about 3/4 of the way down Struggle Street at the moment.
Yeah, a few other people moving up. Daryl Hockey being quite fortunate with some of the issues between Martin Turner and Daniel Hedderschild earlier on in the race. So yeah, he's going to net himself a podium spot if he can keep it up there.
With 2 laps to go for your race leader, Sean Lindsell. He's in cruise control at the moment at XG. Ford Mustang. As this time by, he pumps in a lap time of a 2:05.460, which would have put him up on the second row of the grid in qualifying when he's done that lap 7 of the race. Daryl Hockey behind is only half a second away in terms of lap time, but he's 7.3 seconds away in terms of track position. Then back to Stuart Crawford in third, who's a further 5 seconds adrift and 2 seconds off the pace. Clark and Gray are running pretty similar lap times to him in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, great showing by Sean Lindsell. So yeah, now over 7 seconds from the rest of the field. Really digging that paint as well, that Natrad paint. Did you have any favourites out there?
What was that? I missed that question. I tuned out.
No, that's right. I just was asking how your day was.
My day?
No, I was asking what your favourite paint was. I was actually, I really liked that Natrad paint of Sean Lindsell.
I remarked before the broadcast, didn't I? The Chicken Up racing car, livery I've fawned over in other Aussie car leagues, but turns out really well on a supercar as well. Loving the bit of metallic feel at the side of that car looks like it's got. And a good paint scheme. Basic, but effective. Plus, hitters are like chickens.
That's right.
I mean, I work with a giant chicken every day, that being Jay.
I think Sean Lindsell may have just crossed the start-finish line. It looks like they are now going to be on to their final lap. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet.
Oh.
There he is.
So I was getting slightly excited there. Sean Lindsell, absolutely untouchable at the moment. So just got to bring it home. No scratches on that car whatsoever. So yeah, he's done a pretty good effort there.
So he'll see the white flag, and he'll have just 6.2 more kilometres to convert the first half of his evening here in round 3 of the Ozicar V8 Series into a fantastic start. There's Daryl Hockey and Stuart Crawford. Really starting to get dark now as it approaches 8 p.m. It darkens rapidly. Look at that from Martin Turner. Look at the inside. And Daniel Gray aggressively moving over to cover him off. Headlights are flashing. Tempers are starting to flare because there is just one more lap. And Turner wants himself to be in the top 5. He's got the momentum, but he's on the wrong side of the track. And if we know one thing about Griffin's Bend, it's that the outside is slipperier than an ice rink. But he's going to go for it on the brakes. He ends up high, dry, and wide. And Gray on the inside cut, carry the momentum. Turner does the impossible. He passes around the outside of turn 2 at Bathurst. Go show Bo Albert that one.
I nearly thought Daniel Gray potentially might have celebrated slightly early because he was flashing his lights as he crossed the start-finish line and cut across to the pit lane. But I think, he might have just misjudged how many laps that he had left. Big scratches down the side as well. So, it looks like he's had a few bumps and hits on the walls around Mount Panorama.
Who doesn't? If you don't have a couple kinks on the side of the car, I don't think you've been pushing here at Mount Panorama. Certainly don't come back with the right wing attached. I think that'll be the mantra when we get the new damage model implemented on these cars as well. But for Sean Linsell, not a scratch, not a worry, not a care in the world. At the end of 15 minutes, race 1 of 2 is going to go to one man, and it never had any doubt. Sean Linsell into the final corner, going to wrap up a dominating showing for the first half of the evening for XG Motorsports. He takes out race 1 at Mount Panorama of the Ozicar V8 Series.
Yeah, maximum points by Sean Linsell. So he was currently sitting 7th. So that'll give him a great bump, especially with the 2 leaders of the championship right down the back after that incident on lap 2 or 3, I think it was.
Turner showing some great late pace. He's just going to fall shy of getting a Roy Clark. As they drag to the line, Clark will get there, and Turner will have to settle for 5th, but keep an eye on that for race 2. Turner, great late pace. Jason Rez will come home in 7th in that number 12 car, up 3 spots from where he started. Got to be pleased with that. Kept himself out of trouble. It looks at the damage or lack of that thereof on that car. Daniel Hedgesfield's got no headlights. He'd be thankful this race is wrapping up before it gets too much darker. And then Jaeger Pascoe will be the final car to the line. Final car in the lead lap. And he's actually out of fuel by the looks of it. Because that car... Oh, no. He's just got the engine off. Coasting to the line. That is true cruise control right there.
fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him. Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
Oh, welcome back to Mount Panorama, the most famous mountain in the world, as we do battle in the supercar. What else here at Mount Panorama on the Ozicar V8 Series, third round of its inaugural season on Simspeed TV, brought to you by Simfinity for all your sim rig needs and Virtual Motorsport Mentor for all your iRacing coaching needs. My name's Ryan Jones. Nick Scaraju is with me, and Nick, pretty good race we just saw. Sean Lindsell was untouchable. But looking to see that battle reignited between Clark, Gray, and Turner, who had a great turn of pace late on.
Yeah, I'm expecting for this qualifying session coming up, I know Martin Turner and Daniel Hederschild were both on the pace, so both at the top of the standings as well. Yeah, so we'll see how they come out today. So it is a longer race. I think it's a 25-minute race with a pit stop. So there'll be a few more elements added to this race, like strategy and whatnot.
Yeah, so of course, this one's 25 minutes as opposed to the 15-minute one we just saw. It's now a lot earlier in the day as well, as you can see by the blaring and glaring sunshine down on these drivers. And you've got to make a pit stop for a minimum of 2 tyres. Expect 4 tyres to be taken for everyone, with how quickly your services are done in these cars. This is Sean Slater for Ratu Racing. He finished up inside the top 10. He's probably looking for a little bit more here in the second race. Good thing about the second race is you get a chance to reset, and at sun heading up and under the tree will see blinding to these drivers. That's right on board with Sean here, Nick, as we go for a trip around the last half of this track.
Yeah, just watching him come over Skyline now, so super fast in through. We've got the Dipper and through to the S's.
And a bucket load of understeer.
Yeah, bit of understeer on that. Yeah, coming down into Forest Elbow. So Forest Elbow really critical. You need to get that really good run onto Conrad Straight, and especially with the aero on these cars, if you can get under the rear wing of another car, you can generally get a really good tow down into the chase.
Well, in qualifying at least, it's all about getting the best exit possible, because if you don't, you're throwing away many tenths by the time you reach the braking point right here for the chase, bringing it down from top speed to about 150 kilometers an hour, I want to say, up and over the curb on the inside, and then you want to set yourself up back up this final corner when you begin your first lap, which is exactly what he's done. Drive around to the curb, get the power down early, and don't spin up the tyres. Look at that sun glaring through the front windscreen as well. Better hope you've got a tinted visor on and your brightness settings turned down, as that car almost turned away from him out of turn number 1.
Yeah, big slide out of Hell Corner there, but it does look like he's going to try and make a run again and get another lap in.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, Ron.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so just touching base again, promotion for Ozicar. So it's really great series. They've got the Skip Barbers, the touring cars as well, and the V8s. So they're a 6-round series. So very short championships. So there'll be 2 championships for every season, and really good chance for everyone to get in amongst it.
And if you love watching yourself on broadcast as well, you get that option, with all 3 being covered by us here on Simspeed TV. If you're not a fan of me, though, I'd recommend putting it on mute.
Did you have a fan, Ryan, of is there any series in particular you like over the other 2?
I don't think I can say that without getting in trouble.
Trying to throw you under the bus there. I really love the Skip Barbers. That's such a great series to watch. The little open wheel Formula cars, yeah. But always awesome.
Three wildly different cars. The TCR, which is what started up the Aussie car banner. The front wheel drive little pocket rockets, and then of course the Skip Barbers, as you just described, and then the absolute monstrosity that is this Australian touring car. It's certainly diverse, everything for everyone. As Slater is getting towards the end of his lap, look at the speed you carry through the kink as Hockey puts the first time on the board, using a lot of the inside curve there to help get it turned in, propping it up onto two wheels, gets the power down nicely out of the chase complex, now into Murray's corner. Sean Lindsell, make sure you pull it up because you could throw this all away. Sean Slater too. I'm watching two different people called Sean at the moment. Lindsell crosses first. He goes to the top. Sean Slater, he goes to fifth. Oh, no, his time. His time did count, but he ends up sixth as someone else popped up there as well.
Yeah, so Sean Slater a little bit off the pace, by about 5 seconds or so. So yeah, we'll need to try and see what time he can find over the top of the mountain.
Once again, Lindsell's got a second over the field. A 2:04.3 plus a 2:05.3. Daryl Hockey, Martin Turner separated by 400ths in the battle for second. Crawford back there in fourth. Hetchershide in fifth. McHugh, Clark, and Mickey Slater, the four other drivers to have set times so far. Daniel Gray, Cameron Cousins, Jaeger Pascoe, and Jason Rez yet to record a validated lap time. This is Martin Turner. That's a car I reckon would look really good under the bright lights. One of the speedways where you've got a big old lighting rigged up around the entire track. Would work well with this livery, I reckon. Oh, and that one.
Great work by Jaeger Pascoe. I think he's currently sitting. Oh, hasn't put down a lap yet. So yeah, he'll want to try and get a clean lap in because starting from the back, not the greatest up at the mountain.
Looks like Jaeger needs a sponsor on that car.
Yeah, there's a picture of a big cat down the side, I think.
At least stick a Simspeed logo on it. He's running for Savage Sim Racing, SSR. Oh, God. Let's see what he does then. Into the chase, onto the brakes. In the real car, that's a lot of load force going through your left foot as you try to wrestle it to a stop. You can replicate that, depending on what you've got at home. For Jaeger, though, I'm sure he's got whatever he's comfortable at. For me, keeping that brake pedal as light as possible. Jaeger Pascoe, what's it going to be? 209.573. That puts him ninth. Interestingly, Martin Turner has come to pit road at the end of his second lap.
Yeah, so that might be done and dusted for Martin Turner because the outlap of Mount Panorama is quite long. So, yeah, and it looks like we've just had Hettershide as well as just pulled up. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much most of them. Oh, everyone's everyone's on the brakes now, but looks like that's most of the top 5 that have called it in for the moment. So they're happy
like
with the predictions.
The times are fading away very quickly after the first lap, which isn't surprising given the length of the lap and how notorious these cars are for their tyre wear. Very good initial grip, relatively speaking, and then they do fade after that first lap. So Lindsell didn't improve, Hockey didn't improve, Turner came to pit road, Hettershide spun, Crawford improved, he went to 5th. Daniel Gray is still searching for a validated lap time. This is his second attempt at it.
Do you know what he'll say, Ryan, if he doesn't register a lap? He'll say "dang," which is written in very big letters down the side.
Daniel Gray, Dan G, dang.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah. Oh, I thought he meant like dang like Joe Dirt.
I mean, I saw that in the first race. It's only taken me till just now to realise why it says dang. It's a good lap from Daniel here. 2:06.9. That's going to put him 7th. And puts him right in front of his old pal, Roy Clark. Slap battle's going to resume here in race 2, which is good to see.
Just had Julian Mookie roll it onto his side as well, just as he's crossed the start-finish line.
Good effort. Of all the places to roll, that's one of the least likely ones.
He's fallen short by, I think, about 10 meters. So yeah, he won't register a lap on that.
Oh, that's a shame. Wonder if Jay can get a motor simulation replay. He actually spun to the inside and lazily just rolled up onto his side after sliding into the tyre barrier by the looks of it. Here we go. This will back it up a bit further. He's already got damage to the front of that car, so it's already looking a bit second-hand. Gets it down into the lock stops pretty well. Up and over the curb. That's a curb you don't want to hit. Car spins out. That's such a light rollover that reminds me of Warren Luff's rollover at Bathurst in 2014, I want to say, with Craig Lowndes. It was a very lazy rollover once it actually hit the fence. So qualifying wraps up. And this is your starting grid. Sean Lindsell again with a second over everyone else to start on pole. Hockey alongside Turner and Hedgershire 3rd and 4th. Stuart Crawford and Scott McCune on row 3. Then Daniel Gray and Roy Clark 7th and 8th. Julian Mookie and Jaeger Pascoe making up your top 10.
Yep, we've got Sean Slatter and Jason Reese both registering laps for 11th to 12th, and Cameron Cousins rounding out the top 13.
So track conditions are pretty close to what they were in race 1. A couple degrees hotter. It's 24 degrees. It's a lot earlier in sim time as well. It's just gone 6:30, so won't get quite as dark even with just well, obviously it won't, because only an extra 10 minutes added on and we're starting 2 hours earlier. But I expect this pit window to be pretty wide, anywhere from the end of lap 1 to the beginning of the last lap. But being the car that it is, you probably want to put it somewhere in the middle, because tyre life is going to be extremely important. And I think a much bigger talking point than some of the other series that we run here in Ozicar. An estimated race distance of 12 laps. So for Lindsell, he just needs to get clear of the field and run away again. Everyone behind is going to be desperate to get in front of him and stop him from sprinting away. 30 seconds left on the clock. You can see over the back of the shot there, the big hotel that sits on the outside of the chase. Prime viewing spot for people that want to be at the track but not at the track. Camping grounds in the middle. Plenty of great places to come and stay when you come to Mount Panorama in real life. Here on the sim, you get to sit at home and check out the spectacle that is the Mount Panorama circuit in Bathurst here in Australia. Looking for the red lights for the second time today, race 2 of the evening. The red lights are on. Let's get this one moving. A long hold again. The lights go out, and away we go. And Daryl Hockey converts very nicely from second. He'll challenge Lindsell down into turn number 1. Can he get the run out of Mountain onto Mountain Straight? No, he can't. Everyone else behind, he gets through cleanly as well.
Yeah, I'm just catching a little bit further down in the back of the pack. Scott McCune and Daniel Gray side by side as they go up, Mountain Straight into turn 2.
They sort themselves out just about. Pascoe getting edged out by Jason Rez. He'll drop 2 spots as a result of that. Sean Slater will be the other benefactor to that move. Was that a move at the cutting? It was very close. That was Hedgershire either fending off or going by Martin Turner. Either way, they have switched around since the start. He got by up at turn 1 or turn 2 by the looks of it. So another good start for Hedgershire. He started 3rd, went to 2nd in race 1, 4th to 3rd in race 2.
Just seeing him, come through Skyline, down into the dipper. So, I've just caught Jason Rees. I think might have gone off into the queue litter. Looks like he saved it, but yeah, there's a bit of damage down the right-hand side of his supercar Mustang. Might be able to catch a replay of that and see where he's gone wrong.
The run down Conrod Straight then. And that's Jason Rez, who will lose a spot as Slater goes by and Pascoe will go as well. So Rez with a terrible run onto Conrod. And here's Pascoe now to the inside of Slater. Looks a bit tight as they swept through the kink and into the chase. Locking up is Slater. That car looking very unstable as he comes through the corner. Now he's having to defend again as Pascoe gets to his outside. Round the outside at Murray's corner. Easy as you like for Jaeger Pascoe. He gains another spot.
Yeah, deep braking like a demon for Jaeger Pascoe. Managing to put that move almost twice. So, even Jason Rees jumping in there. Looks like he's made the move as well onto Jaeger Pascoe.
Yeah, following Pascoe through to go by Sean Slater, who's actually just dabbed the brakes there, interestingly, as he came across the little crest. Here's a replay. This is Jason Rez up through McPhillamy.
Yeah, it does look like he might have contacted the wall a little bit earlier. Yeah, lock up. Very good save.
Moment. He's very fortunate that wasn't a big incident.
Yeah, it tightens up quite a lot through the dipper there. So yeah, if you're offline, it's quite often you will collect the wall and obstruct the track.
Daniel Gray following very closely in the tyre tracks of Stuart Crawford in the battle for P5. Turner and Hedgershire are pretty close in front of them for P3 as well. And Hockey's only let Lindsell get out to a 1 second margin, so he's not firing off as quickly as he did in the first race. One little slip will put him under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, onto the run on Conrod Straight. So yeah, top speeds of around 300 k's an hour, and it looks like Martin Turner trying to look left to right of Daniel Hedderschild. So looks like Hedderschild didn't get the run out of there at a Forest Elbow, but yeah, Martin Turner not being able to get a pass done. Big slide from Roy Clark.
Big oversteer on the exit of Forest Elbow as he tried to get the power down. Hedgeshire's under a lot of pressure now from Martin Turner, who finished very strong in race 1, getting by Gray and almost getting to Clark in the last lap as well. He finished in 5th. Now he's running 4th, looking to move himself up into the back of the podium. It's tricky to pass here. If you're not fast enough down Conrod and into the chase, you've only got another 2 spots, which is Murray's Corner, Hell's Corner, and if you're fortunate for a good run down Mountain Straight up here at Griffin's Bend. Everywhere else on this 23-turn circuit, you've got to run single file unless you're a very brave man. So you've got to have a car that's fast across the bottom of the mountain, but you've got to be comfortable across the top. It's a tricky dilemma in terms of setup.
Talking brave men, Sean Linsell and Darragh Hockey now putting in, looks like they've just broken Hedderschild and Turner behind him with around about a 2-second gap. So it looks like if they can chip away, their positions of 1 and 2 are pretty well safe.
Oh, Crawford made a mistake similar to that of Rez as he ran down into the S's, pinched the left front and ducked across the little grassy cutout. Here we go. See it from Chopper Cam. Another driver fortunate to get away with that. And I think behind Daniel Gray Boulder wide heading into the dip-up as he saw that and might have panicked just a fraction.
Yeah, there's not much of a reaction time there because a lot of it is very, very blind. So yeah, great work by Daniel Gray to make sure he pulled up in time not to collect Stuart Crawford from making that mistake.
You saw a shot there of how close Turner was to the back of Hedgershire. He was right there and almost close enough to challenge. Here is Pascoe challenging up on the brakes. wouldn't get it pulled up fast enough. And he won't complete that move. Oh, that's a big mistake. And into the tire wall he goes. Spins it around and does a nice 360 and keeps it going the right way. Not much damage to that car either, but he will bring it to pit road.
Yeah, Jaguar Pasco seems to be putting moves on everyone around the outside of corners, so whether or not that's really the right way to get it done, yeah, you can see very slight mistake coming out of the chase, and it's ended quite badly for him. Just on board catching, Daniel Hedderschild and Martin Turner, so we're the two first and second championship leaders, so sitting quite well in third and fourth. Just coming over and down into Skyline, so just catching those little steering inputs from Martin Turner. Quite a lot of feedback from the car, and you can see as he comes over those crests. Oh, Hedderschild wide over the top of Skyline. Looks like he's pulled it in, brake lock up down into the dipper, but he's able to get back onto it, so and hasn't dropped too much time.
Plenty of smoke signals going up in the air as these guys struggle to pull the cars up. With 17 minutes to go on this one, we're 8 minutes in, and drivers will be starting to look towards their pit window that they've each got, where they want to pit, with an option to, pit a lap early, pit a lap later, depending on where you are. Do you go for the undercut or the overcut? Pit a lap earlier, you get the benefit of fresh tyres. Well, let's say Turner pits now, he'll have fresh tyres for a lap while Hedgerschild runs around with the old rubber. Look how close he is. If you can't get this move done, maybe he's best off coming to pit road. In fact, Hedgerschild's going to come to pit road, so Turner will go by. He'll get clean air, but now Hedgerschild's going to have fresh rubber, so he might actually get the spot back once this shakes out.
A really good idea with Hedderschild, because he has locked up the brakes quite a lot on that last lap, so may have flat spotted the tyres, made it a bit too unpredictable. Oh, just catch him back just onto the straight. Oh, and they collide. I'm just catching Scott McCune and Roy Clark. Looks like they're able to keep going. Just catch a modem simulation replay of that. Oh, this is someone. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
No.
A bit of a hip check. Looks like they're able to keep going, so back along Mountain Straight.
Roy Clark is able to get by Scott McKeown as a result of that. Puts himself in P6. Tricky pit entry here at Mount Panorama as well, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, that's right. So it's over a crest as well, so it's almost quite blind. But yeah, you've got to duck off to the left, and then it has that really tight chicane there as well. So washing off quite a lot of speed. We've seen a lot of people, and quite famously in real life and in the sim life, make that mistake on that chicane and end up in the wall. And it's been days over for them. Sean Linsell coming down Conrod Straight, almost 300 kilometers an hour down into the chase, really hard on the brakes. So just seeing when Sean Linsell's going to pit, and probably will set off the chain events. He's got a really good gap now to Darryl Hockey, over 4 seconds now. Just seeing Hockey in the background. Comes on for another lap. Martin Turner, and looks like Martin Turner is now around. Oh, sorry, that was Stuart Crawford, also from Simfinity. Jason Reese still being out there, even though he does have that damage that it looks like he took on lap 2. So sticking out there. Only really seems like Hedderschild's the only one that's really pitted so far.
Yeah, and he's got clean air to boot as a result, but that's quickly going to become traffic, because that is Sean Slater right in front of him. And in front of Slater is Jason Rees. So he might struggle to maintain any advantage he has in a few moments' time when these guys start to hold him up. Meanwhile, Martin Turner's got the benefit of plenty of clean air and 3 track in front of him. He can pump out whatever lap times he's capable of. But a difference in tyre life. Old versus fresh rubber.
Just catching the onboard of Heddershald absolutely powering past Sean Slater. So
Yeah.
it is Heddershald and Daniel Gray. So they're both pitted. Not too. Oh, it looks like Cameron Cousins is also pitted as well. Yeah. So there's a few cars that have been through the pits now. Julian Mookie looks like he's nursing a lot of damage. I didn't really catch what's going on there. As we catch a modem simulation replay. Yeah, so missing his rear wing. And yeah, that car very battered and bruised, and I'm sure something's about to happen now as he comes through skyline. Oh, big understeer. Oh, into the wall again. So yeah, almost looks like a pinball coming down the mountain there. Julian Mookie not having the best of runs tonight.
I was going to say, finding amazing rear stability despite that rear wing not being attached to the car. As now a whole host of pit stops. That was Daryl Hockey, and this is Scott McCune and Roy Clark also pitting through the little chicane that forms the pit road entrance. Hector Shard got by Jason Rees without much drama as well. And he should emerge ahead of Clark and McCune. That'll be pretty comfortable. Daryl Hockey will be pretty comfortably in front of Hector Shard as well. He's just gonna get this. He, as long as he gets the tyres up to temperature. If he makes a mistake, Hector Shard's going to be all over him.
Yeah, I did think Heddershald was going to get a really good run out of Hell Corner, but looks like Daryl Hockey's just a little bit too much further up the road, but he'll be wanting to kind of push early on, get the heat in the tyres, and to be able to maintain his effective second on-road position.
Meanwhile, Sean Lindsell is very, very lonely, doing an exquisite job for the Extra Gaming XG Motorsports team, but probably wondering where everyone is, because he's got 10 seconds the next closest car behind, and he's nowhere near lapping anyone, because we can't see anyone in front of him either.
Might have just seen, I think that was Martin Turner just far off in the background, but yeah, Sean Lindsell absolutely commanding lead of just over 10 seconds now, so we'll be needing to pick a time to pull it in the pits, so yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see if he pulls it in now.
He'll keep it out there a little bit longer. Martin Turner, keeping an eye on him in his battle with Hector Shard. He comes to pit road. So this is the pit stop we wanted to see. And this will tell us whether Hector Shard's gamble to pit, not less of a gamble, more of his idea to pit, right as Turner got to him, has paid off as Crawford continues on the racetrack as well. Here is Hector Shard coming out of the chase. His last lap was a 2:07.3. Turner was a 2:06.9. So Turner actually had some pretty good pace. Still up on the jacks.
Yeah, so this will be the really key one, whether or not Martin Turner can get a nose out from Heddershald, but it does look like, not even close.
This is a bad stop that Turner. Something's gone wrong for him. Maybe taking fuel by accident or a technical issue. Looks like he may have taken a tank of fuel. And that mistake is going to cost him gravely, and he rejoins in 7th position.
Yeah, so losing about 2 or 3 spots for simple mistake of not keying in potentially his pit requirements before pulling in. So yeah, a very, very small oversight has now cost the potentially the championship lead now.
And that is the downside to acting as a driver and engineer and crew chief and spotter all at the same time here on iRacing. There's Lindsell as he flashes by the camera. Blink and you miss it. Down at the kink. 8 minutes to go. About 4 laps. He's going to come to pit road this time. He takes that left turn. Gets it pulled in. Doesn't need to make any mistakes or risks. Through the left, through the right, through the left, through the other left. And into pit road. Really feels like that could be just one corner. But instead it's 5.
Also, yeah, second on road, Stuart Crawford pitting in as well. So we'll see. I think Daryl Hockey will be out in front of him when Crawford finishes his pit stop. But yeah, we'll see what the order is once Linsell and Crawford are both out of pit lane.
Well, we know Lindsell is going to emerge as the race leader. There he is, coming out of pit road. There's Hockey in second, so he's got a comfortable gap. Hockey goes by Crawford. Hetcheshide will go by Crawford as well. Daniel Gray. This will be close. So Crawford comes out of pit road. He's going to gas it up. Gray, now it can be about a couple seconds too far back. So Crawford's got that covered by quite a comfortable gap, and actually, in the end, not as close as I thought it would be. So that's how your field looks at the end of the pit stop cycle. Lindsell with a 5.3 second margin back to Hockey, Hetcheshide, Crawford, and Daniel Gray, your top 5.
Yeah, looks like the pit stop strategies haven't really messed up too many people aside from Martin Turner. Oh, just a massive slide through, I think it was McPhillamy Park for Daniel Gray. So yeah, lucky to save that. Looks like it might have been cold tyres, or potentially it is quite warm out there at the moment. But yeah, maybe giving it just too much throttle coming out of there. Oh, it's a lovely 24 degrees. I'd much rather it be 24 here than in there, that's for sure. Sean Slater looks like he's just over a second to Jason Rees. So Jason Rees, bit of damage control, so coming back after an early accident over the top of the mountain early on in the race. Looks like he won't be able to make a run. Hopefully he can get a bit of a run down on the Cromrod straight, but he'll have to sit in as he comes over the top of the mountain.
So Lindsell, Lindsell will come across the line and he'll trigger lap number 10. 3 laps to go then for our race leader. Rees and Slater. This is a battle for P9. He's going to get a distant toe down Conrad Straight, so that's going to help him out just a little bit. Still flashing those lights, trying to play some mind games with Slater, who I think might have just flashed the lights back at him. Well, after the brake lights flashed for a second. Apparently Slater's having brake issues. So if we sit on board with Jason Rees, you'll see the brake lights flashing. So looks like he's carrying permanently carrying about 0 to 1% of his brake, and it's flickering on and off around this racetrack, which would explain why he's struggling so much for pace out there.
Great work by Jason Rees as well. So yeah, he's pulled that gap. It was, I think, about 1.2, 1.3 seconds. So he's now just pulled it just under 4/10. So it looks like he will get a move done on Sean Slater.
Also, right. Rees is flashing his lights as well in response to Slater. So Slater moves it over to defend, and they'll run side by side into Griffin's Bend. And up on the top of the side of the racetrack, he finds no grip. And this could get tight into the cutting. Someone's going to have to lift, and it'll be Rees on the inside that lifts off. But he fights back, throws it in, but he can't get it turned and powered out of the corner well enough. So Slater will hold on for now.
Great work by Slater and Rees as well to not collide there, because super tight part of the circuit. So excellent defensive driving by both Slater and Jason Rees.
So Reese will have to try again. And with the brake drummers for Slater, you imagine he's going to get a monumental run down the main straight as fastest lap of the race for Sean Lindsall that time by. 2 laps to go for him. Yeah, I think this is going to be done pretty easily for Reese here. He's right on the back of him already as we come under Conrod. He'll pull alongside and it'll be a drag race. He'll hit the wall of air. There's nothing Slater can do. He tries to door bang him, slow him down, side draft him, anything. Reese even drops a couple tires in the grass for a moment, but Slater can't fight that one. And so Reese up into P9.
Might not be over. Slater getting a good run out of the chase, but yeah, it looks like Jason Reese might have just put that gap on him a little bit. Could be, could be game over for this battle for Sean Slater.
So Sean Lindsall did a 2:04.1 last time by, fastest car on the racetrack, fastest lap of the race. The next closest was a 2:05.4 from Crawford. There was no one else in the 2:05s. So 2 seconds quicker than all but one other car in the field.
Yeah, Sean Lindsall absolutely dominating. Just now as we're watching Daniel Gray go over Skyline, hard on the brakes, keeping it very neat, pointing it in the right direction. With Roy Clark, just under 2 seconds behind, but big lockup and big understeer from Daniel Gray through Forest Elbow, but looks like he's recovered all right. We'll get down Conrod straight in a quick time.
So Clark had actually gained a second on 2 laps in a row. Then last lap, Gray found some pace and they equalised. Looks like Clark may be finding some speed again in that car. He's not going to have long though to try and run down your race leader. Not the race leader. Your 5th place man, Daniel Gray. Race leader though, talking of him, is well on his way to sweeping the round. He's got just 3/4 of a lap left to go before he wraps this one up.
Yeah, Sean Lindsall absolutely untouchable. Hasn't put a foot wrong, so yeah, big points haul, and and two wins to his belt. Just catching so Daniel Gray and who was behind Daniel and Roy Clark. So only 3/4 of a lap left. So Roy Clark running out of time if he wants to get this move done. He has pulled the gap back now to 0.7 of a second. So possibly might be a bit of a last minute dash to get this move done.
But out front, it is the land of the free. Sean Lindsall. Man, I've got to use that on an American series. Bookmark that one. Jay, write that down. Write that down. And it's Independence Day next week. So there you go. Sean Lindsall out front. Clean air all around. Untouchable today. No one has come close to the speed and consistency that the XG Motorsports man has displayed, and he will make it 2 from 2. He will clean sweep round 3 of the Ozicar V8 Series here from Mount Panorama. Stunning victory and stunning performance.
Also, great work with Darragh Hockey. So yeah, qualifying second, bring it home in second place, and Daniel Hederschild up into third. So great to get that podium spot starting from 4th position. Just catching the last few across the line. Looks like no more moves. So Martin Turner, championship leader, in 7th position after that mistake in pits. Oh, and we've just had
Daniel Gray.
I
in
think we've
defense
just
down
had-
at turn 1.
Yeah, sorry, turn 1. I thought that was the last corner as I was just catching it on my screen.
Sean Slater
Correct.
will be the final car in the top 10. Jaeger Pasco will come home in 11th place as well. So, in the end, it was all about one man out front, but some good little scraps throughout the field as well behind him. Let's take a look at your full results then from race 2, the last of our 2 races today. Margin of victory was 11.5 seconds from Daryl Hockey and Daniel Hetchershide, your top 3. Stuart Crawford, Daniel Gray making up your 5 top cars, and then Roy Clark, Martin Turner, Scott McHugh, Jason Rees, and Sean Slater, your top 10.
Last few cars, Jaeger Pasco on the lead lap, Cameron Cousins a lap down, and Julian Mukai with an issue on lap 6.
So, a great third edition to the Ozicar V8 Series saga and the championship here from Map Panorama today. Next week, we are changing it up. We're heading to another track, as always. And it should be another great race. First 3 rounds have all been relatively clean, which has been great to see as well. A nice, respectable racecraft being given throughout the field from all the drivers involved. Let's have a chat to Daniel Hetchershide, I think it's pronounced, who came home P3 at the end of race 2. It looked like a tough race out there, Daniel.
Yeah, it was a tough night, to be honest. The race 1 didn't go very well, and race 2, the guys in front just had too much pace for me.
Talk us through race 1 then. What went wrong for you?
Well, obviously the contacts coming out of Forest Elbow with Martin, which I'm not sure what happened. I didn't get time to have a look, but I'm guessing he just tapped me, which had me facing the wrong way, which wasn't a big deal. I mean, I had no spoiler, so I was a bit slow. And then, yeah, I made a massive stuff up coming out of turn 1, put it into the wall, and was about 2 or 3 seconds a lap down with power.
Race 2 was a lot better, coming home in 3rd, but pretty lonely for most of that one. You battled early with Martin Turner and you pitted as he got to your outside. Was that the plan, to pit on that lap, or was it a reaction to Turner getting that close?
I could see he was faster than me, so I was pretty much sitting there and holding him as much as I could. And yeah, the plan was as soon as he got beside me or in front of me, I was going in the pits.
Looked like a good call in the end, because you came out well ahead, although he did have an issue in his pit stop, which dropped him down the order. Would have been good to see that one resume in the second half of the race. Either way, a good podium to walk away from Map Panorama with. Who do you want to thank for helping you get it done today?
Yeah, thanks to 111 again, Simfinity, all you guys running the broadcast, Ira for running the series, and all the guys for the good racing. Hopefully we can get a few more numbers. It looks like we had a few more this week, so we're getting there.
Indeed we are. Thank you for joining us, and best of luck when we head to Motorsport next week.
Cheers, guys.
And Nick, I believe you're going to catch up with Sean.
How you doing there, Sean? Awesome work. Absolutely untouchable for both race 1 and 2. How'd you feel?
Felt good, felt confident. Car was good. Had to make a few setup changes, roll bar changes on the fly because of the track and the fuel and all that. But yeah, I was pretty happy with it. Pretty comfortable race.
Yeah, you looked pretty smooth out there. You didn't have too many issues with any taps of the wall or hits on the grass?
No, it felt pretty comfortable. Although I think it was lap 5, my headset started to die. So on Conrod, I had to try and find the charger cable.
That's it with those technical issues. Is there anyone that you want to thank for your race tonight?
I would thank my team, XG Motorsports, for helping me and supporting me. I'm relatively new to those guys, and I'm still learning. So much to learn, and these guys are as patient as ever with me. So yeah, huge shout out to those guys.
No, great work, Sean, and yeah, it looks like you're definitely in with a with a chance to get this championship done, seeing what happens with Martin Turner and Daniel Hederschild.
That's it. Thank you.
So that was Sean Lindsell, dual race winner here at Mount Panorama. We're going to wrap things up, though. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to find out more about Ozicar, you can find it on their Facebook page at Ozicar. Find us as well at Simspeed Esports Network. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our races when we go live on the Simspeed TV. From all of us in the booth, my name is Ryan Jones, Nick Scarriggio alongside me, and Jay Kennedy behind the scenes. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top. Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys I want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?